This evening, still most of our devotees enjoying the New Year. And there is, I think, amongst many of the Chinese that they have this belief of third day not going out. Is that right? But Buddhists go out, Chinese don't go out. And yes. So this evening we have with us, I don't think, have you seen this monk before? How many of you have seen him before? You have seen him before. Oh, I see. The last 2-3 days here, is that right? Those of you who come only once a week, then you might not have seen him. This is Venerable Sumana Ratana. Is that right? Sumana Ratana, yes. And he is from, now also very difficult to say where he is from. Originally from Sri Lanka. And I came to know him there in Sri Lanka when I was studying there. And then after that we met here in Kuala Lumpur and in Singapore. Then since 1985, is that right? You went to Stockholm. You went to Stockholm. So he has been in Stockholm Buddhist Vihara in Sweden for how many years? 3 years now. So this evening you can, if you like, we can open up a discussion, and we would like to invite also Venerable Sumana Ratana to take part. Why not first we hear a few words from here? Yes, Venerable sir.
Good evening to you all. I think today we should invite Venerable Mahinda to speak to us. And I came here actually to listen to him because you have met him after some months, I think. And he has not been here for a long period of time. Therefore, I think we should invite him to talk more than I would talk. Because he gave me the mic anyway, I should also talk little. And as Venerable suggested, I would also like to join a discussion. I'm not going to talk, therefore, on a special aspect of the Buddha's teaching, but I can, to begin with, explain something about how we see Buddhism and how we benefit from Buddhism. And if we summarize all Buddha's teaching into several words, in the point of view of ethical aspect, you can say loving kindness is one of the foundations. That whole teaching of the Buddha is based on loving kindness. So you can learn more about loving kindness and how you should develop all that from Venerable Mahinda, because he has been involved in meditation teaching and practicing meditation for a long time now. And let us get some more information about all these aspects from Venerable Mahinda. And also there is Upasika Sumitra. Yes, she will also take part, and she will also talk about all this, I hope. because she has also been involved in practicing meditation, practicing Buddha's teaching devoutly. And also you, I think most of you have been coming to temple discussions and practicing Buddha's teaching for a long time. So I hope you all join the discussion. And when we talk about Buddhism, we also see a special teaching of the Buddha which makes Buddhism different from many teachings. That is a dependent nature, which we call paticca-samuppada in the Pali language. Things arise, everything arises dependently. Consciousness arises dependently. Name and form arises dependently. Psychophysical personality, so to say, arises dependently. And existence always is dependent. So in the dependent nature, we condition it, we try to condition it by accumulating merits, by developing our mind, and try to go beyond opposites. We try to go beyond opposite concepts like likes and dislikes. And that is how we find the way out of suffering. Suffering is not taught by the Buddha for us to suffer. It is for us to generate confidence, and it is for us to realize and find the way out of suffering and put it into practice, follow it. And to follow the noble path, to follow the way out of suffering, we start with loving kindness. Loving kindness as a basis, we develop our way of going beyond through various methods. Through Sila Samadhi Panya, through Dana Sila Dhavana, charity, morality and meditation, or the culture, mental culture and wisdom, and all such words can be translated into action. Buddha has never spoken any quality, any word which cannot be practiced. Everything taught by the Buddha is meant for practice, is meant for benefit of mankind and other beings too. So loving kindness, for example, has no limit. It is to be practiced for ourselves first, being kind towards us, and it should be practiced, it should be spread towards every being, irrespective of class, caste or creed. And that is how we can introduce what the Buddha taught in brief. As you know, you can summarize Buddha's teaching in many words, in different words. 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, and some sentences, and so on. And to continue, I would like to invite Venerable Mahinda to give some more information so that you can get some more ideas to ask questions and join the discussion. Thank you very much.
Tusen tack. In Sweden they say tusen tack. 1,000 thanks. So I think from what Venerable Sumana Ratana has said, we can pick up our discussion from there on the subject of loving kindness, metta, and dependent arising. And you probably have heard about this I had very much wanted to speak to you about dependent arising, but it is a topic that can be made very difficult, but at the same time it can be understood in a very practical manner. So let us first talk about metta or loving kindness and see how metta arises and what is this loving kindness. How is this loving kindness expressed in terms of our actions in our day-to-day life? And how is it what you call inculcated in the tradition, particularly when this New Year season. How do you see this New Year season? And from what you have observed, how people celebrate during the festivals, how is this? Is there metta? What is this metta? What is this loving kindness? Actually, when we talk about loving kindness, that love is there in all of us, no? Of course, in different degrees. Of course, the highest level of metta, it is something that has not achieved, not attained by many people. Because the Buddhist concept of loving kindness is one of boundless, no boundary. And so, can you give me some examples how metta, how we translate this love or loving kindness into practice in our day-to-day life, and what you observe during these few days? Can you give some examples? Giving alms to beggars. Someone? All right. Yes, someone? Kindness to all beings. A very good subject, kindness. And you know that word, may all beings be well and happy, right? This is actually a sort of standard formula when we say, may all beings be well and happy. Let us discuss this first. And when you wish, may all beings be well and happy, do you really wish? Do you understand? Do you really mean it? And to what extent you mean it? What is the implication behind this? May all beings be well and happy. Is it possible? Let us see, how can we, to put this into practice, this is an ideal, right? It is an ideal that all beings be well and happy. But how do we put that into practice? Let us have Sister Sumitra's, views about these things. She can point out from what she has heard about metta, how that can be put into practice. Then after that we will
I'll give something which, something which I have actually experienced myself on the practice of metta. That this practice of metta can actually be radiated to different planes of existence, even to the level of animals. And actually, I personally see a friend of mine who has cultivated her metta to an extent that when she shifted to a new house, there were many ants in the kitchen. And because of her practice, she said that she will not even use water to splash away or even to sweep it away. So what she did was she kept on radiating, and she was actually practicing meditation at that time. And after a few days, the ants just disappeared by itself without a single ant being killed. So with that experience, which I saw personally how she has practiced, then I actually told another friend who was very afraid of cockroach, a man actually, and whenever he sees cockroaches, he screams, and the more he sees, the more he sprays with the insecticide. And the more he sprays, the more it grows in his room. So one day he came and told me, and I said, why don't you practice metta? Then he said, no, the moment I see the cockroach, I will jump and scream. I said, in that case, next time when the cockroach is far away, just stand far and keep on doing, radiating the thoughts to them. And eventually he got rid of the fear of cockroaches. And when the cockroach came near to him, he was able to radiate that thought to it. And after some time, the whole room was cleared from cockroaches without any killing. So with that, actually, it gives me more and more confidence that when I went into the forest, I'm very afraid of worms and snakes, actually. So when I went into the forest, I keep on radiating even without seeing the snakes. So after a few days, the snake appeared actually in my kuti, under the kuti. And I was standing there and it walked past. And immediately the fear arises. Then the next moment, mindfulness arises in me that I thought, why not I practice the metta this time on myself? Then I keep on doing that thought to that snake and wishing it well, and thinking in terms that it is just another being. It is just like earth. All being has that life, and all beings desire happiness. So with that thought, I radiated to the snakes. Then it just passed by peacefully. And even poisonous snakes, which I heard, the colorful one, also move away peacefully without disturbing earth. So with that, I think loving kindness can actually be practiced to all levels, to all beings. And I think that is what is meant by make all beings be well and happy. And even to the unseen beings, we can also radiate that. Because I personally experienced it in Penang Hill myself, with, the feeling of some beings there and the fear arises. But the next moment, after doing the metta bhavana, the fear just disappears.
Actually, when she was telling about ants, I thought whether the story got from me. Because That story I did not want to tell actually, but because she told about this ant's disappearance, I'll tell you one story which I experienced in Stockholm temple. One day I saw 2-3 ants roaming around. Now, I didn't care. About a week later, these ants grew into thousands of ants, black ants, and they covered the whole temple. I could not touch telephone. I could not go into the bathroom without blowing them off. Maybe. And many people asked me to do something to this. And some people suggested to put some kind of insecticide. But I never agreed with that. And I told them not to disturb them at all. And some people then suggested that they could find some kind of insecticide or kind of a thing which smells, with the smell of which the ants will disappear. Then I partly agreed with them, but they never succeeded in finding such a thing. And afterwards, I got the idea of metta. I had the metta in me, however, for my whole, I have been practicing it. And when I got this idea one day of meditating with the intention of asking these ants to disappear anyway, to get away from the temple without disturbing us. I also remembered one particular sutta, which is Ratana Sutta. It says at the beginning, Yane de bhutani samagatane bummani vayani vantaliki sabbeva bhuta sumuna bhavantu atopi sakkaccha sunansu bhasita. And this sutta says at the beginning, may all these non-human beings who are on the ground or in the sky, wherever they are floating or just living beside us, may all these living beings be well and happy. Yani the bhutani samagatani bummani vayani vantaliki sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu. That means all these beings be happy and well and happy in brief. And in the second stanza it says, may they not disturb human beings who help them, who wish them peace, who wish them health and everything good for them. So I just had this idea in my mind, and there is a commentatory explanation to say that Buddha himself visited one city in India called Vishala, and chanted this particular sutta, in which you find a lot of metta, full of metta, words which are full of metta, that is loving kindness, and also the qualities of the Buddha, qualities of the teaching of the Buddha, and qualities of the noble community who practice metta in brief. And all these qualities are chanted, and at the end of each stanza, there is a particular sentence saying, may all beings be well and happy. May you be well and happy with the help of these utterances of good words. So I had all these ideas one day, and at about 10 o'clock in the night, I sat in front of the Buddha statue and tried to concentrate on metta. I concentrated my mind on metta for about 1 hour. And I wished peace and happiness towards myself as well as towards all beings, including those ants. And I chanted the sutta which I remember into some water and sprinkled the water in the temple. And just I went to bed afterwards. Following morning, normally some devotees come to temple to see whether I have breakfast and see what is going on there. And also they just checked up what happened to ants those days. And one Englishman, who was the secretary at the beginning of the temple, was very much interested in seeing ants, and he could not find out medicine or what kind of insecticide or something, the smell of which will chase the ants out. And that morning when he came into the temple, he was shocked that he did not see ants. He asked me, "Where are the ants?" I told him, I put some medicine. I used some kind of a mixture. Then he asked, "What is that?" I said, "Some blessed water." Then he was amazed to hear that, and he didn't want to believe that. I explained, even I did not expect such a lot of ants to disappear within one night, because they grew gradually for about 10 days. Within one single night, they disappeared. Many ants. And if somebody argues because of the sprinkling of water they disappeared, I could still say that they were in the bathroom. The bathroom was fully covered with ants. Whenever I wanted to go to the bathroom, those days I could not have a bath. I just blow them off just to keep some steps into the bathroom. However, this is one of my experiences. I wondered whether Upasika Sumitra got some information about my experience. See how people practice metta and see the results and experiences. I thought that it was only I who experienced of chasing or just getting rid of ants, but it was at least one more. One more is there who has got rid of ants, and also many serpents, as Upasika Sumitra has explained. Maybe Venerable Mahinda has many other experiences too. You can hear from him later. And I wanted to add one more word here. When we say about loving kindness, we radiate loving kindness to each and every being, whether it is possible or impossible. Venerable Mahinda just put a question to us all. Actually, I read somewhere, it is not that we are going to recollect every being or to find out every being to radiate loving kindness. It is that we should be kind towards us as well as towards all other beings, whoever they are, though they are poisonous or not poisonous, though they are friends or not friends, though they are enemies or not otherwise. We make ourselves kind first towards them, and we try to maintain our pleasant feelings of sense of loving kindness, not to wish any harm at all towards any being, towards enemies or any serpent, any poisonous serpent, whoever, whatever, whichever beings they are. That is, to begin with, actually, is necessary to be kind towards us as well as to all other beings. So, we will hear more about loving kindness from Venerable Mahinda.
He has talked about ants. Now let us come to rats. And next time when when you go to Singapore, you try, okay, please try. We have a very fierce rat in Singapore, a very fierce one. And for the nights that I have been there, I have noticed in the morning, this rat will come out about 10 o'clock or when the people leave, and then will go here and there. And whenever he sees that the door is locked, he will try to get through the door by biting and bite the wood, bite the carpet. You can see all the bites there. And I think this rat, I have not seen, must have some, the whole family may be there, and the smaller ones. These smaller ones, I do not know one or two, but every night, since I was, when I was there, I was told before that also, not that I brought the rats there, but so this small one must have, climbed up the flowers that have been offered to the Buddha. And every morning I notice the yellow chrysanthemum, all the chrysanthemum, all the flowers gone, only the leaves left. Orchids are left untouched. Just the chrysanthemum flowers, they eat up all. And I have been wondering what to do also, you see. And occasionally I have thought of, may these rats be well and happy, But did not really work very much until last night. I thought I will speak to the rat, because I saw that rat, one of them, this size, and came up. Just, while I was talking to some people who came to visit, this rat came. Then I stopped talking to that person. He thinks, I was crazy or something, And I says, I just hold on, please. There's a rat there. I want to talk to the rat. Then I talk to the rat. I says, rat, you have been bothering this place for so long. And do you know what kind of unwholesome karma you are creating? For these kind of actions, you come to this temple to do this. Do you know what kind of results you will reap? You know what you will reap in your next life? And I says, rat, you don't have to disturb this. We will give you food somewhere. I place some food somewhere. Don't disturb this place. No? Then the two of them, the two visitors were looking at me, I was talking in the air, but I knew the rat was in that direction. I was talking to the rat, you see. Then after that, I continued with my discussion. Not on rats, on some other thing, please. Then after that, I just left it at that, and about 10:30, 11, they left, and I retired. This morning, when I came into the shrine, I noticed that there was no excreta around the place. For the last 2 mornings, I had to clean the excreta everywhere. And the potted plants that they put, 2 potted plants there, this rat had dug up the soil. Half the potted soil splashed onto the carpet. and all the break the branches. No. This morning I saw only a few leaves dropped outside the pond. Not so fierce already. So sometimes our metta must give more forceful metta and threaten them a little bit. But for their well-being, I really thought that, very bad karma for this rat. Obviously, this rat must have responded a little bit. I remember how Chief Reverend gave loving kindness to some drunkard people here. Once, when I don't know, is the Toddy shop still around here? Yes. Oh, I see. And but I do not know whether they are bothering the monks, but because I've not been here very long. Anyway, one day, this man, he came, he was drunk, and he was talking nonsense, and right in front of Chief Reverend's room. And then Chief Reverend came out, looked at him, and then he was scolding, don't know what words he was using. Then Chief Reverend came up and says, Karaniya metta kusalina yang tang fan tang padang sadang. Then, and he walked away. You see, how wonderful, And obviously he must have tried other methods before. So with loving kindness, at another tone, change the pitch, it worked for that drunkard fellow. So sometimes we must change the pitch and the tone, but still maintaining the love inside us. And it works. Test it and it will work, if you have that confidence. Now, let us go to one more experience about sandflies, flies. This happened many years ago when I was following my lay teacher, when I was in New Zealand. And we were on the beach, on the seaside. And the sandflies came to me, and very painful. Do you know the sandflies? When you go to the beach, there are sandflies come and bite you. Very sharp prick they bite. And at that time, I did not know what, real Buddhism was. The more they come, the more. Then I saw my lay teacher, and he was, he stood with his hands folded like that, bare-bodied. Then I looked at him, and says, "You are not disturbed." He says, "No." He says, "How come so many come here?" He says, "You killed them." And I says, "Eh?" He says, "Don't." He told me, "Don't kill. Don't kill them." So I stood for a little while, and they came to attack me. But okay, I don't kill. I followed his instructions. I don't kill. I waited. After a little while, very few came to attack me. Very few came. And then I see, how it works. Because it is actually, it's very reasonable. All these animals these insects that come to us, actually they also need food for their survival. Their food is our blood. Sometimes we also, human beings, eat their flesh, isn't it? Our food, not ours, some people's, because I have given up that for many years. You see, some people still live on the flesh of others. This is what you call interdependence in order to live. We step on each other. So, when we consider this, if we can have this consideration to live, if they want, let them live like this. And a few may come, they're satisfied, they go away. Right? When we try to kill them, when we try to harm them, what happens? What happens? What happens when when you come and approach somebody, and somebody comes and takes the stick and shoo, get out? What do you think you will do? You say, I have done nothing wrong. So if you are not strong, you go and telephone your friend, come. This time let us come, bigger gang come. This is what they do. They call, because they have fear for their lives. They have fear for their lives. Not only that, they come and they see that, you see, oh, my brother passed away. Died. Where? On the shoulder of that fellow. My sister there, my parents there. So they say, let us go and call that battalion to come. This is natural for them. So they come in great battalion. You have to face them. So it's natural. If you disturb them, this mosquito also, if you don't disturb them, they come a little while, they will go. Sometimes they bite also. And endure a little bit, endure. And in that manner. But I will take your advice, and when we go back to Australia, I will try, and then next year I will tell you how it works or not. Because we have been invaded. Your Stockholm Buddhist Vihara invaded by ants, Swedish ants. We are invaded by Australian bees, honey bees. Ooh. We were told that since we arrived, how many 100,000? Oh, more than that. He says, at that time we did not want to kill the bees, So we call the expert, we call the city council people to advise us what to do. They tell us, you call it apiary. That means one who specializes, one who keeps bees, culture bees. Then we contacted one of the best in Sydney. And he came, he came with all the, and then he says, where is it? There. And he puts his ear there. He says, oh, he says, and there are at least 20,000, he says, here. 20,000 here. And I says, how to get it out? He says, he says, as long as the queen is there, you cannot get it out. Then I says, what will happen? He says, by summer you will have 50,000. And by the next winter, by the next season, you will have a few hundred thousand, you know. And in no time, your wall, you know, it is the walls in some houses in Australia, it's not solid like ours, you know. They are hollow inside. And all that hall will be occupied by bees. And, we tried. Some people say put smoke, we put smoke. Some people say put, joystick, we light joystick. And then he had the idea, keep the bee box. So I asked him, bring the bee box and put sugar there. We had boiled sugar, to give the bees. And very happy to see how the bees go into the box and take the sugar. They take the sugar, they go away. After 1 week, no more sugar left. So, still there are, I think. I will try that one, okay. Metta and sprinkle some water, and I'll let you know what happens. And anyway, metta really, if one practices this systematically, I told you just now that in its grosser form, it is there in all of us, in many of us, especially those who have learned. All of you who have come here, actually, you have this love for Dhamma. Already some metta is there. Otherwise, you won't be here. Unless you have a love to do good, then it's very difficult to listen to Dhamma. Because if you get some people who are very wicked and who are very angry, they do not like to hear good things. They do not like to hear about metta. Talk about love, they go away. They run away, really. You can try. When the little ones get angry, then you talk about love. Talk about metta, you see. Oh, they run away. So, there is this metta. And this is how the Chinese practice metta. We are told, I do not know, but when I was young, my grandmother taught me to pray. And how to pray. He says, first pray and ask. Ask for what? He says, Bình an, Bồ Vì Tê Chú Bình an. He says, may I be well. And then he says, then you should pray for your mother and father. Then all your brothers and sisters. Bình an, like that, you see? Right or not? There you are. They also, yes. This is how we pray. And then, New Year occasion, then the message is, in the temple is, not only for oneself, right? For the world, right? There you are. For the world, pray for the world. That there be peace in the world. That's right, peace in the universe, peace to all. Yes, not only Chinese New Year. Yes, not only Chinese New Year, even on what? New Year's Day. The Christians celebrate January the 1st. They have Peace Day, they call it. And so, this is how actually metta is being practiced at the thought level. Then it gets translated into action. whenever you arouse in your mind this thought to arise, that may beings be well and happy, may I be well, happy, may other beings be well and happy. The moment this thought arises, this thought does not arise just by itself. It arises with some other mental factors, some other thoughts arises. When samrupada means sound is together, uppada is arising. When it arises together. No? Now what happens when you get angry? When you get angry, what happened to you? Just anger alone arise in your mind? What else do you notice when anger arises? Oh, you get angry and your mind, you know, there are also other thoughts in your mind. And immediately, when you get angry with that person, the ang pao green red packet already extended, but take back already. When you get angry with that person, right? There you are. Whenever anger arises, this defilement arises, then the other defilements also are conditioned to arise in this, no? And but when you have these thoughts of loving kindness, when you have this thought wanting to see people happy, others happy, this is what you call metta. Embedded in our culture, this is what you call the cultural heritage. It is passed on from one generation to another. They celebrate by giving, sharing things with others, giving gifts, sharing of gifts to others. Why? Why do they do this? To make others happy. To make others happy. The younger receives from the elder. And the children. Some, I think, can switch on a little bit. It's getting warmed up. That's the power of a metta. Helps to warm up, you see. And when parents don't need many things, but they need to make their children happy on such occasion. And now see what happens when others are happy. When he sees their children happy, what happened to him? When you see others happy, what happened to you? You are happy, no? You are happy also, right? See how one thing conditions the other. One condition. When this arises, that arises. And when that ceases, this also ceases. So there are four things that are related with three other things that are closely related with metta or loving kindness. What are they? What are they? Three other things that are related. When you have this thought, cherish this thought. Every time you cherish this thought, may all beings be well and happy. All beings be well and happy. It is true that for the time being, because I asked you this question, whether it is possible that all beings be well and happy. It is not possible for all beings to be well and happy. But it is possible for us to wish that all beings be well and happy.
Because all beings are at different levels of development, different levels of understanding. Right? So all of them cannot be well and happy all at the same time. Now, because the concept of happiness differ. How do people become happy? People get their happiness when they gamble. Some gain the happiness when they drink. When they win a big stake, they are happy. When they are happy, the others are sad. The others have lost. Right? Then when they drink, oh, very nice, they feel very high, they feel very happy. But the wife is not happy. The wife is inside boiling and says, stop you drinking there. He says, no, once a year only, never mind, once a year. See, this is what happens. When one is happy, another one is not happy. So, we have to see. But, to have good thoughts, to develop goodness in us. And how can we wish, let these people be happy, the others one never mind? No, we have this good wish. We have this ideal. Our ideal is this. We wish that all be well and happy. But we must understand that everybody in this world, each individual in this world, whether they are happy or they are not happy, it depends on what they have done. It depends on their karma. It depends on their action, right? Much as you would wish all to be well and happy, but when you see others, they may not be well, they may not be happy. But it is important for you to wish. At the same time, when you see that they are not well and happy, you should not feel sad about this. You must have that understanding. That is why there is another virtue, another quality which is very important to one to practice with metta. What is that? Equanimity, upekkha, equanimity. We must have metta, we must have love with equanimity, with upekkha, metta, upekkha. We must have love flowing out with wisdom, so that our minds are not affected. We can give metta to all beings, to all beings. If we practice this again and again, then we will have no fear. It is true, many people today living in cities, they have become so much afraid of so many things. They are afraid of lizards, cicak. They are afraid of cockroaches, afraid of rats. Some people can faint, simply because a rat passed. Yes, they scream and then they faint. I know one woman who can become hysterical when she sees a rat. You see? So I don't tell her this story, otherwise she will never come to our place, She came a few days ago. Why? This phobia arises, this fear arises because of our hatred towards them, and especially
those who have killed such beings in the past, again and again, again and again, they get that kind of fear for such beings, for such animals. Yes. The more you kill, the more this thing, the more fear that arises in them. And so, if we learn to live, let live, and we can avoid many things, but of course, there are certain times that you say you must be practical. And I know of one woman in Sri Lanka, and 3 years that she invited Chief Reverend, and when I was there, I went for the dana. And the 3 years, the same question arises in her mind about cockroaches and rats, how not to kill them. You see, obviously she did not practice that kind of metta. Must practice in different ways, in different ways. You see, actually, if we really try to find out a way, if you want the easy way out, you just grab hold of something and then finish. But that is an easy way out. For that kind of shortcut, you don't develop wisdom. But when you want to find out a way how you can help that being to live peacefully and go peacefully, then you will use your mind to think. Pakai otak, sikit-sikit. You start thinking, how can I do these things? Why these things like that? Then you think, because they want food. And the place is dirty. The rubbish is not these things, you see. And so if we cannot kill, what can we do? We can try to catch them. Yes. So there are different methods, different ways by which we can avoid direct violence. No? By thinking in this way, then, you see, when we want to practice one thing, just one virtue, when we start practicing them, problems arises. But we put on effort to go on, and with that effort, other virtues arises in our mind. And I say that there are other virtues which are interrelated with this metta. When you have love in your mind, when you start wishing your parents be well and happy, or your teachers be well and happy, then what happens is it will condition your mind, and then you will, when you see them, then you will have the courage to speak some kind words to them. And also, gratitude will arise in your mind. Sometimes when you wish them well and happy, then certain thoughts will arise in your mind. And if you establish this, gratitude, reverence, respect for your elders, all these things, humility, reverence, patience, forbearance, these are virtues. They come up, they are conditioned, they condition one the other. Now when you have this thought again and again that may all beings be well and happy, well and happy, well and happy, then suddenly you are confronted in a situation where you see that being is not well and happy. And so immediately you reach out your hand to give a helping hand. Then what another virtue has a reason. What is that virtue? Karuna, compassion. Compassion. So metta, can condition the compassion, the heart of compassion to arise. Compassion arises when we see beings, less fortunate beings. They are suffering. But the real compassion will arise when we begin to really understand, realize the suffering inside us. When we begin to see our own sufferings, then we can understand the suffering of others better. If we cannot see our suffering, it is difficult for us to see the suffering of others. So when we have compassion for others, now compassion is something that leads us on to what? When you help others who are in need, usually now, many of those of you who have visited during the Chinese New Year, the old folks home and what is this, the Sungai Buloh place and old folks home, and then you give them some ang pao and they are happy. When you see them happy, you become happy. That is mudita. Mudita. Mudita is sympathetic joy. You see the happiness of others and you become happy. That is mudita. You see? So these are interrelated. They are related. They condition one another. Metta, karuna, mudita. Mudita is also when you see somebody doing good, you feel good. Do you feel this thing? When you see the child, when you see somebody respecting the elders, how do you feel? You feel good? You feel good. Then you have mudita. At that moment, that mudita, you see, the mudita can arise if you know it. If you develop your mindfulness, then you can observe it. And you can cause it to arise also. If it is not there, you can cause it to arise. Because you can think, while we are traveling, when I travel, hop from one plane to another or one train to another, I see, when the family, when the parents come and the children meet the parents at the station, they are so happy, and the children land hand in hand to carry the heavy suitcase. I feel happy. I feel happy, I smile. I say, it's good. Because you see there is goodness in this, so you are happy with this goodness. If we can train our mind to see what is good and to rejoice in the goodness, that is mudita. That is mudita. And then upekha. So really mudita is the immediate result, the immediate effect of what? Karuna. When you have compassion, you help others, you see others happy, you become happy. Right? Karuna is the cause. The effect is happiness, and you get happiness in you. Right? There is another virtue, upekha, equanimity. That is a long-term result. That is a long-term result. Why is it a long-term result? Now I think you should answer this question. Can you answer? Why is it a long-term result? How is it that by practicing compassion, metta and karuna, we can eventually lead us to attaining equanimity. And what is equanimity is, I think I will pass on to somebody else to talk about this. Anybody? Bhante.
Yeah. What is equanimity? Equanimous mind.
Compassion through love and compassion can lead us to, I say, love when we have metta, condition, karuna, compassion. Compassion in turn condition, mudita, sympathetic joy. And where does upekkha? How is upekkha related to these values?
When you condition your mind with this loving kindness, compassion, being kind towards those who are suffering, those who are in need of your support, and also when you congratulate on others' success, when others are happy, you make yourself happy with the happiness of others. When others pass examinations, you are happy. You wish them good luck. May you be well and happy. When you, as Venerable said, when small ones pay respect to elderly people, parents, teachers, and so on, those who see should maintain a happiness, make oneself happy, congratulation on their success. When we congratulate on others' success, we mostly limit such words to just for the moment and just for words. We don't congratulate on others' success sincerely most of the time. Just we say, congratulations. My warmest, heartiest congratulations on your success. But if we can really wish, if we can really congratulate, we should wish peace and happiness to those who have succeeded. However, when you condition yourself like that, with those pleasant thoughts, with such peace and happiness, long-term result, as Venerable said, is equanimous mind. That is a balanced mind, where you are not shocked by any changes, any physical suffering, any kind of sicknesses, whatever. You are not shocked because you have caused your mind to be peaceful, happy, and you maintain your happiness. You keep on keeping your balanced mind. And whenever you gain a lot of profit, you will not be proud. You are not shocked by the profit. And when you lose something, whatever property or friends or whatever you lose, you don't cry. You are not shocked by that because you have maintained, you have been used to that balanced mind, equanimous mind. You are not shocked by ups and downs, so to say. And when you have praise from others, you don't get still proud or you don't become naughty. When some parents praise children, children will become naughty sometimes. When we are praised, we will become naughty sometimes. If we have balanced mind, equanimous mind, we will not be shocked. We will try to become better and better when others praise. And when we get blame from others, we get angry normally. If we just see what mistakes we do have and try to avoid such mistakes, thanking others for showing our mistakes, that is with wisdom, that is with loving kindness which we had been practicing. We generate more and more equanimous attitudes. balanced way of thinking. And praise and blame, fame and ill fame, sorrow and happiness, such other ups and downs we experience. Whatever things or whatever experiences of that nature we experience, if we can maintain our peace and harmony, happiness, loving kindness, to be kind towards others and ourselves, that happiness, that what we call equanimity, equanimous mind, mental balance, you will find the long-term result through the practice of loving kindness. And to make it simple, let us take one example which Buddha quoted many times, which I repeated in my talk several times, the example of lotus. When lotus grows in the mud, it comes out of the surface of water level and blooms beautifully without getting smeared by mud or water. Bees come and take nectar. Various flies, butterflies and so on, come and take nectar. And the beauty of lotus will beautify even the surrounding, even the pond. No matter how water is smelling or how muddy that place is, lotus can beautify the surrounding. Buddha says, similarly, one can live in troublesome society, in ups and downs, experiencing all these without getting shocked by them, without getting troubled by troubles around, but by rendering services for the good of every being, all beings, without getting shocked by troubles around. So, you know the poem which I repeated, I don't know whether you heard it. Don't trouble trouble till trouble troubles you. You only double trouble and trouble others too. So, to continue, if you have any questions, please put forward. Please, and if you have anything to add, you can also make yourself free, and we will pass this continuation of the same Metta to our Upasika Sumitra.
Just add a little how these four virtues, metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha, can eventually lead one to wisdom. Because with the practice of metta, if one really practices to the highest, one will really radiate this loving kindness, the thought of loving kindness, and manifest it into actions and speech with a very selfless thought. And with that also, one will begin to see the suffering of oneself and others, that when one attached to the I and mine, one will suffer. But if one can really have the compassion for others and help others without any thought of this I and mine, without clinging to anything, without hoping any return by helping others, one will reduce this self and able to see the happiness of others and rejoicing in others is also a way of reducing the self. So this eventually will lead to one to develop the wisdom, the insight, and reduce the ego, the I, the pride, and lead one finally to liberation.
Any? Yes? Yes. Yeah, great questions.
Taking a practical part of it,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody is having a problem, they're going to help out their problem,
All right.
and you stick to it, and you help them invest
Mm.
then eventually you will not have a problem. And we will not get the problem also. They have no problem. There is problem because we not get ourselves into problem.
Right.
In other words, by doing good, people are good, the good will come back to us. Not problem us. Think of this.
Yes, by helping others when they are in trouble, and he says that, the trouble will not come to us. Now, actually, I can see this in another way, you see. And when others are in trouble, you go and help them because you have compassion. You go and help them. Now, I think from our own experience, when we go and help others, we will find that we get more trouble. Right? We get more trouble. When we get more trouble, then what happens? Then we begin to say, this world is really, this world. Then you begin to understand the nature of this world. This world is such. Even I do good also. I try to help others, and I see. And the more you want to help others, the more you see suffering. You go to one neighbor and you see, knock, 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 they come and tell you their sorrows. You go to the left-hand neighbor, knock, 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 and then you have any trouble? Yes, they're least here, there you are. Right in front you, knock, 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 any trouble. Boo, start blasting out all the trouble there. Then, when you listen, the more you listen to the suffering of others, not only listen, but open your eyes, then you say, why? The moment you want to help somebody, you begin to ask this question, why? Why is it that they are suffering like this? And you saw that on your right hand, on your right side, your neighbor, they have this problem because they have this kind of life, this way of life, and they have this problem. On the left-hand side neighbor, they have this kind of problem, and there's some kind of similarity. Then, in front also, they also have this problem. So you begin to see that these problems have certain relation. There are certain causes. There are certain common causes. So you begin to see the relation. The more you see problems, the more you encounter problems, and you want to help others to solve problems, then you begin to realize the causes of problem, the cause of problem. And when you keep on tracing the cause of problem, then you will finally derive to the real root cause of problems of life. What are the root cause of problem of life? Greed. The more you eat and eat, one house, two house, 30 house, and eat, and then you know what happened. Some people cannot come because they have stomach ache, because they cannot see, because they have eaten too much. Some big people because they cling to, they have various kinds of attachment. Enjoy too much also no good. They get hangovers, third day hangovers. That's why the Chinese says don't go out. You see, first day enjoy, second day some people not enough, so they enjoy to the climax, and third day close the house because hangover. Or those who are religious, third day meditate on what you have done. How nice it is. So we can understand, try to make use of the festivals and try to understand the real significance, the values of it, so that we can pick up these values. Now come back to this problem about compassion, having compassion and helping others, and we will be able to see different causes of problems, how people suffer according to their actions. This is how we develop our wisdom mind. When we have wisdom in our mind, we know the cause and effect. Then, when problem arise at hand, any problem arise, we know this is the cause of it. We can overcome. Not only that, since we know, we have seen the life of so many people leading such a way of life, and they have this kind of problem, then we can decide which course of life we want to take, which way we want to take. Whenever we come to a crossroad to decide what to do, where to work, what to wear, then we think, oh, these people have this kind of... Then, you see, you can decide, having that experience behind you, then you can be free from trouble, at least relatively free from trouble. It is actually when wisdom mind arises, when you understand karma, cause and effect, then it can make you trouble-free. You really have trouble-free. Actually, in this world, we cannot be totally free from trouble. Yes. The more you help others, the more trouble you see. But the more trouble you see, don't run away. If you cannot stand, then run for a little while. Come back again. You see. And this is what there is this teaching on. Wherever you go, and in whatsoever place that you go, and trouble arises, problem arises at that place, and try to solve the problem at that place. Try to solve the problem at that place. And don't run away. If you run away, come back again and solve it there again. Then, in other words, this is what you learn. You confront the problem, and then you develop your wisdom mind. Actually, wisdom, when arises in the mind is strong. Whatever things that happens, the mind is not disturbed by that. That is where the mind is fully secured. The mind is free from suffering. Through the understanding of the real nature of life, understanding of the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect. There are many things that we can learn. When people visit our house, we can learn. Now, the practice of going to houses, dana, sharing. When you share, open house, many people come to your house, give you many trouble, then give you opportunity to practice patience, understanding, tolerance. But if you get angry, then you say, from now on next year, I don't invite all these fellows, they come and they say they come and sing hymn, but what kind of hymn they sing, and out of tune and this and that, you get angry instead, no? And then, so when you see, you try to see things, and the other angle, and in anything bad, anything that is bad that arises, there is something good that you can come out from it. So if you can learn this thing, somebody taught me once that everything happens for the good. Anything happens for the good. So that if you take this motto in you, and you are confronted with a certain situation, problematic situation, and says, now, this is the problem. But what is the goodness of this? and see, right? If you can face it, and think how to face it, find the cause. The way to solve problem the Buddha has given, showed up very clearly, the Four Noble Truths. There is the problem. There is the cause of it. The Buddha says, there is an end to all problem. Then the Buddha pointed out the path to go. Sila Samadhi Panya, Dana Sila Bhavana. This is the course to go. So constantly seek refuge, go for refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. Then you will have confidence to face whatever problems that come. And when you are able to solve your problem, then help others. Extend a hand to those who are in trouble. And never mind, there may be a little bit more problem arising, but confront it more until you be able to develop your mind, actually compassion, whereby having sympathy, compassion will lead us to wisdom. And when we have wisdom, we have real compassion. The real compassion mind comes with wisdom, because real wisdom comes with right understanding and right thoughts. Right thoughts are those thoughts free from covetousness, free from strong desire, craving, and harming others, free from cruelty. That is compassion. Free from ill will with metta. So when you develop metta, you develop karuna. Karuna arises. Wisdom also arises. Wisdom is there, you see. Because when you develop metta, it is right thought. Right thought is one component of wisdom. So this is how we can grow in wisdom and compassion. So again, I bring back to what I have said before. The motto this year, the message this year is, let us grow old with what? Wisdom and compassion. Make a firm determination that let us develop our wisdom mind and develop our compassion. And compassion, let us be kind to ourselves. Let us be kind to ourselves first. How to be kind to ourselves? How to be kind towards ourselves? Why do we suffer? We suffer because of our mouths. Dirty mouths. We talk the wrong things and then we regret. We do the wrong things and then we regret. We think the wrong things and then we regret. Remorse arises in the mind. We suffer because of that. And so when we are kind to ourselves, we will naturally free our minds from wrong thoughts, wrong speech, and wrong actions. It is because of wrong thoughts, wrong speech, wrong action that we suffer. Because we eat too much. So the body very heavy. We want to sleep. The mind cannot work. And when we get up, we are still drowsy. Then somebody tells us about this problem, we get angry. We suffer. We cannot concentrate on our work. Business goes away. We suffer. Because of what? Because of our wrong actions. Because of our long way of life, bad habits, smoking, drinking, getting up late, and then what happens? Again, the wealth goes away. The dragon, dragon come in, but which part do you catch? The upper or the bottom part? Because in Singapore, they really celebrate Dragon Year. In China, we all say dragon, mark of prosperity,
right? But remember, prosperity has its up and down, just as the dragon has its up and down. Huh? Up goes down, down, up, down. But the good dragon, they say have 5 claws. The 5 claws. You know what these 5 claws are? What? 5 precepts. Then the good dragon will be you all will have real prosperity if you can practice really the 5 precepts. Avoid killing, have metta, avoid stealing, avoid sexual misconduct, practice self-restraint, avoid lying, tell the truth. Abstain from intoxicants, indulging in intoxicants, and build up your mindfulness and awareness all the time. Then you will find that your life will be happy, really happy this year. Then really the dragon comes marching in. You see? No need the saint come marching in, dragon come marching in. And the dragon meet you. If you don't practice these 5 precepts, then the 4-clawed dragon come in, You know, the 4-clawed and the 5-clawed dragon. Anyway, we hope, since you have come to observe 5 precepts all the time, I think good dragon will come. And if you are good, if your mind is good, everything will be good. Let us end up by making our mind good. Just a few minutes, we will do a little bit of metta. Yes, keep your body in an upright posture. Keep your body straight. And just relax your body. Feel your whole body relax. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes half closed. Breathe in, breathe out. Now as you breathe in, you can mentally note Bud. As you breathe out, mentally note Do. Breathing in, Bud. Breathing out, Do. Bud. Do. Bud. Do. Any thoughts, any distraction that arises, return your attention to your breath, focusing your attention on the breath. Just observe the breath as you breathe in and breathe out. You will now bring your attention to your body, breathing in, breathing out normally.